Hi, I'm Alan Meyerson. I'm a scoring mixer, a recording engineer, and sometimes a producer. Right now, for the last 31 years, I've been doing mostly film scores. I've done all the Shrek movies. I've done all the Dune movies. I've done all the Pirates of the Caribbean movies, the Gladiators. I've had a pretty good career. I've been working for years with some great composers, Hans Zimmer, James Newton Howard, Harry Gregson Williams, and so on and so forth. And before that, I was in the record business and I worked with some great artists. I worked with Moby and I worked with Brian Ferry and I worked with New Order and various others. So I'm very excited to be here. So, the great thing about percussion is you can either use it the way it's intended to be used, or you can use it in a way that is incredibly creative, which is my friend Lewis is a master at that. He really redefines what it's like to look at an instrument and figure out a million ways to make it do interesting things that you would never thought about. I would definitely recommend it to everyone. It's first of all, I'll give you, I was thinking about this since we were doing it. What would I say about it? Well, the first thing I would say is it's incredibly well recorded. Everything sounds like the instruments that they are. It isn't one of those libraries where you're going to have like long, crazy rooms and stuff like that. There's a sense of uniformity with all the sounds because they were recorded basically in one studio. And they sound great. And the interface is incredibly intuitive for someone, Lewis, who is an intuitive worker, who likes to be able to, I think he's a lot like me, where he likes to be able to not have to think about how do I do something as opposed to let's just do it, And so all that is great. Now, in addition to that, the style in which he created it is a sort of a way to open your mind. You can do things with the sounds that aren't the traditional, like he was doing something with me with a Jew's harp, where he added a bunch of distortion to it and repitched it and added it to a sequencer. And it was no longer the original sound, but what it was an incredibly cool piece of percussion, and that's the most fun stuff. It's, one of the things about doing 325 movies is you get a lot of things that basically have the same groove, the same sounds. Now, I've been involved with creating other libraries, and you get a lot of that back at you and stuff like that. But what is always the most fun is when you get a project where they've sort of rethought the template. They sort of use their paints differently than the other artists that use the same color paints. And that's what this can do, is it can really open up your horizon for what you want to do with these sounds. So I highly recommend anyone that is smart enough to get this, that you experiment to the furthest degree. And I'm encouraging Lewis to put out some videos to sort of show his tricks of the trade so that it can inspire you to think outside of the box. Now, if you don't want to think outside of the box, this is still a great library because all of the sounds are organic and beautiful, and you can add a massive amount of compression to them. You can add distortion to them. You can add, there is some reverbs you can add. You can do a lot of stuff. But if you don't want to do that and you just want to have something that sounds great, you've got a couple hundred sounds here that you can do it with. All of them give you the option of having it super dry or completely in the room. And so far, what I've seen is usually around 40 to 50%, which is on almost every library, is the most organic sound. But it's very clear. There's no resonances that are very annoying. It doesn't build up. It's just really excellent recording and excellently produced interface. It's all true. It's not, I never lie in these things. I might avoid certain subjects if I don't like something, but in this case, I don't really have that problem. So if ever you hear one of my testimonies, watch one of my videos, if I'm saying it, I mean it. And if I say I'm using it, it's because I'm using it. So Lewis would like me to come up with a conclusion to this video. And this is what I can tell you is every now and then, if you're starting your career, you're going to find things that resonate with you. And it's going to be so much easier to put a round peg in a round hole than a square peg into a round hole. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you don't want to occasionally take a little sandpaper and round off the square peg and smack it in that round hole. and I highly recommend you can use this for it. But you're going to find that this percussion library is going to expand your horizons, and for that, it's incredibly valuable. The first thing I did when he showed it to me was call up 3 of my favorite clients and say, "You need this library." So my suggestion is, if you like to create music, you need this library. And thank you, Louis, for creating it. I know, sure, it took a lot of work, and in my opinion, it's going to be well worth it. So everyone, Alan Meyerson signing off. See you at the movies.